Hello. Hello. All right, let's get this show on the road. Welcome to my One Piece Anime Awards 2024. I put a pinned message in the chat to vote for any of the awards coming up. I'd love if you took part in that. Now, on January 10th, I'm going to do a manga version of the One Piece Awards. This is, for all intents and purposes, a rough draft. I'm trying out this new thing for the first time, and even if it's a little scuffed, you guys are anime fans. You guys are used to, suboptimal pacing, sometimes hastily drawn artwork for those episodes that are right around the big budget episodes. So I think you guys are going to be okay. Hi, Colin in the chat. So on January 10th, I'm going to do a manga version. I'm also going to do a couple different things than from this channel, or than from this anime version. I'm going to highlight some One Piece content creators that I enjoyed over the past year. We're going to do a Big Dad channel review. We're going to do some personal goal stuff. We're going to do some One Piece predictions because at that time we're still not going to have like the next chapter. So that should work out well. All right. Now, we're going to do an anime recap. Remember, we started by finding Jewelry Bonnie in the eddy kind of right outside Egghead Island, where the Straw Hats notice there's like a little girl in there. They jump in and they save her, and they get kind of divided up. So then one half of the Straw Hat Pirates goes onto the island, sees it for the first time. We get to see the island of the future through Luffy's eyes. And then the other half of the pirates, they run into Vegapunk very quickly, and Vegapunk is a woman apparently, and it turns out it's Lilith, and that there's all these different Vegapunks. Vegapunk divided himself into like the various avarices, greed, wrath, stuff like that. Then we get to go around Egghead Island and we get to see all this future technology, the unique climate, and eventually we meet Stella Vegapunk, the original or the primary Vegapunk, I guess. Hey, Happy New Year to you. Um, let's see. Now, when we meet Vegapunk, it's through Luffy and stuff, and he's like messing with this giant robot that will become, obviously much more important later on. Oh, thank you for doing your survey. Yeah, if you've joined recently since starting the stream, I have a pinned message in the chat to fill out the voting, and I'll use the results for those awards. So we get to meet all the Vegapunks, and pretty quickly we cut over to Winter Island, and we have Blackbeard basically waiting to ambush the Heart Pirates Law because he's trying to snag up, a couple poneglyphs rubbings. And that fight looked like it was going pretty well for Law at first, but Blackbeard kind of has this secret strength that he likes to use, and especially with his like unique Logia power, ends up overwhelming Law, and it's not looking so hot. Then we go back to Egghead Island, and we get a little bit of information from Shaka, the good Vegapunk, and he's talking to Robin and the rest of the Straw Hats that are with her about O'Hara. And this is because before he separated into satellites, he went over to O'Hara to find out what happened, and he finds Dragon there. And Dragon is there um, paying respects to what is now basically a gigantic grave. And Dragon is there with Vegapunk, and they notice that there's all these Elbaf giants pulling out wet books from the water um, that the archaeologists threw into the water to save them, because the Marines who were burning all this down and destroying it, they didn't understand the value of what they were like protecting with their justice. So they didn't think it was very important. The person that was leading the giants, it was a bandaged giant themselves, and it turns out it's Jaguar D Sol, and we get to see Robin in this really touching moment. As kind of a backdrop to all this, Cypherpole is on their way to Egghead Island because there's been a bunch of other like lower Cypherpole agents going missing. Cypherpole is also bringing some more Seraphim with them, which is something that we've already seen on the island, but you know they got their special ones that they can use, and there's this whole like um, chain of command hierarchy and stuff like that that's going to be like at play during all this. But they interrupt the party, and obviously if Lucci is there and he sees Luffy, he's like, I gotta fight that dude. It doesn't matter what anybody says, I gotta fight that dude. And so we get to see Luffy open up a can of whoop ass on Rob Lucci again. Like he did it the first time, what was that, like 400 episodes ago? But this time it was a lot worse. It was done with a lot of style. This also ends with Vegapunk revealing that he has a Cypherpole agent on the inside, and it turns out it's Stussy, who was like the first clone and all this kind of stuff, and she uses some type of weird like succubus power to just like immediately beat Lucci and Kaku when they were surprised. Let's see. Yeah, so that's not going well. Bonnie, for a while now, has been looking for Vegapunk because the whole reason she's there in the first place is because she wants to know the truth of what happened to Kuma. She wants to know the truth of what happened to her father, to know, like, did he really, like, give up his free will, or did you guys make him? What's going on here? And she's, like, wanting to kill him and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, she's not really going to kill him. Oh, the sound's only coming out on one side? That's not good. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. You know, I can see that on here, actually, now that I notice it. Sorry, guys, I'm hopping into my settings real quick. Okay. Very weird. I wonder if I remove it and add it in Discord, if that will fix it. Also missing. Yeah, I'm gonna try that real quick. Hello? Is that coming out of both sides now? It looks better on my end. It looks better on my end. Let's see here. Or is this better? That looks worse. Hmm. Did this fix it at all for you guys? Not yet here. Very weird. Okay. Okay. I don't think this. It doesn't seem like it's fixing it. I can't 100% tell, but certainly doesn't look like it to me. So, unless it's awful for you guys, I'm just going to let it rock for now, and then I can take the recording, and I should be able to fix this pretty easily within Premiere, but it's annoying though. Sorry about that. Alright, back to where we were on the anime recap though. We got Bonnie searching for Stella, trying to figure out what's going on with her father, what happened exactly, because she doesn't know. At the same time, we get Kuma running from the Revolutionary Army. They just rescued him from Merjois, and he starts climbing the red line. So he kind of launched himself from the paradise side of the world, and he eventually runs into the red line because that's like the highest known point in the world, especially on the way over there. Um, and this whole thing suggests that Kuma isn't really gone. Kuma still has some type of will going, pushing him further. Um, let's see here. And then the story turns into this whodunit, like Vegapunk, like murder mystery type of thing, because they're trying to leave Egghead Island, but Stella has just gone missing. So now it's turned into this search for Stella. But all of a sudden, the Seraphim that are there, even though Cypherpole is defeated, start acting all crazy. Like they're getting orders from somebody, but they can't find out who, and they can't override them, meaning a Vegapunk is a traitor, one of them. The Straw Hats are feeling like a little overwhelmed with the situation, and so they decide to free Lucci and Kaku to help fight the Seraphim. That goes pretty well, all things considered. But Shaka wanders down and is like, hey, like, I think I might know what's going on. And doesn't defend himself or anything and just gets blasted in the head and is dead. And it turns out the culprit is York, the avarice for greed. And York did this so that they betrayed themselves for a spot on the red line as a celestial dragon as a reward for exposing themselves or something. See, they leaked the information that Vegapunk has been researching the Void Century like 3 months ago, and then to further get the world government's attention, they've been like kidnapping these like lower level Cypherpol agents and tossing them in prison so that it would just naturally escalate the situation. What do we got here? We got Kid. He pulls up on Elbaf and he starts just blasting, or at least that's what he meant to do. But Shanks like read him so hard that he barely had it whipped out before getting absolutely like pooped on in front of like all 7 people in the world that actually care about Eustace Captain Kidd. It was so embarrassing, but as a semi like if it serves me, like I hate Kid. Now if he's teaming up with somebody I love Kid. But at this time, he's an enemy, so I was like, this is fantastic. Yeah, I don't remember, at least in the manga, if they revealed what the fruit that Stussy has was, but what Stussy had. But maybe they did in the anime and I forgot. But yeah, it definitely looks like it's some vampire something, at the minimum. Next, after the whole like Elbaf thing, we cut over to Hachinosu, which is the base of the Blackbeard pirates. It's the pirate island, the beehive. And Kobe's kind of breaking out and helping people get away. And at the exact same time, Garp drops out of the sky with this massive attack called Galaxy Impact and just does this awesome, like, blast or whatever. Like, because they cut away after this, it makes it look like the whole island is just destroyed, like, as it's happening. But when we cut back, the island is still there, but it's still like a massive crater. It's like an asteroid hit the ground or whatever. Around this time, we get a bit of the backstory revealing Kuzan, former Admiral Akiji, to be the 10th Titanic captain of the Blackbeard Pirates, joining them to mutually support their own desires, which I don't think will turn out so well in the end, but who am I to say anything? Blackbeard and the pirates also mention some stuff about like trying to find the last road poneglyph, and that the only lead they have is that it's somebody with a burn scar, and that they have this like mysterious black ship that sinks anybody pursuing them, all this kind of stuff. And we also learn we also kind of learn that, I don't remember if we knew this. I think we learned that Kuzan lost his leg a long time ago, so we didn't learn that. But yeah, as a reminder, he uses like his devil fruit abilities to give himself like a fake leg, but he lost his leg in that fight with the Kainu for the fleet admiral position. So yeah, that sucks for him. Yeah. Around this time, we cut back to Blackbeard, and he just beat Law's ass. It's not looking good. But Law's navigator, Beppo, takes a hit off of Chopper's like cotton candy dream and goes full Sulong mode and saves Law right before Blackbeard gets all weird with him and tries to like take his devil fruit or become immortal or something like that. Buggy declares that he's going after the One Piece for reals this time. And then we see Sabo having a tea party with Dragon and Ivankov, and he wants to tell them what the hell happened in Marijois. And hell did happen. Oh yeah, Kid did not have a chance. Yeah, Beppo, you know, I always liked Beppo. It was just like kind of a cool dude. He had chill vibes. And then he pulls out like this like beast mode, and I'm like, all right, I see what you're cooking. So turns out the five elders are literally monsters, and there's a secret ruler of the world government. You know, we already knew about the secret ruler thing for a long time, but Sabo and Nefertari Cobra, they were learning that for the first time. And this person is like a super duper big monster. Oh, and Nefertari Cobra and Vivi are actually D's, and their great 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 grandma was Lily, and she really made Emu like super mad. So yeah, the monsters killed Cobra, and while Sabo tried to save him, Cobra at least was able to leave Sabo a message for Luffy and Vivi, and of course we don't see what that message is, but it was pretty damn important. But at least Dragon knows now, right? Because Sabo told him, like, please do something, anything, Dragon. I'm begging you. Like, 2025 can be your year. It can. You just got to do something. And like the kind of like annoying part about that is like all like the hot shit is happening over in the new world, and we know Dragon is over in paradise. So unless he has some like crazy powers, which he might, you know, he's weeks away, weeks away. Yeah, they were drinking wine, but I think it's funny to call it a tea party. uh, Back at Hachinosu, Garp spanks every single pirate on the island before Shiryu, the like former warden of, or former like vice warden, I think, of Impel Down, remembers that he can just be like a dirty little rat, and manages to wound Garp, leaving him to evenly slug it out with Kuzan. And now Garp decides to rely on the little wimpy ass Kobe, but actually Kobe is like a hardcore badass who doesn't give a shit, so he shocks everyone besides Garp with a punch that literally destroyed an island-sized arm, which was made out of an island. So to save everyone, it was crazy. I don't think any of us expected that. I mean, I respected Kobe, but not like that. I was on Garp's level. And everybody made it off the island except Garp because he got stabbed and all that kind of stuff. And even though even though Garp is like captured or whatever, he's just laughing his ass off because that was objectively hilarious. And now we're on a break, and we got the amazing fan letter filler episode, and it was one of the best anythings of One Piece ever. We started getting a remaster of the Fishman Island arc, which allows all you anime only fans to start to understand how bad the pacing could be at the worst of times. And now we come back to Egghead for a reunion of a bunch of people from the Sabaody arc. It's going to be a good time. Oh yeah, reminding of the tea party with Mr. 3 right before the Little Garden arc. Yeah, Dragon's just he's trying to look east so far that it's gonna wrap all the way around. Uh so I'm gonna give you about a minute or two. Anybody's here to get in their votes. But we're gonna go straight into the awards. We're keeping it nice and simple today. I mean, I'm a one man production. Like the best I can do is talk my wife into sitting here and like helping me like click through the layers on OBS. But um, you know, I just want to do a few awards. I hope that this evolves into something bigger, and I'm excited for the manga edition coming up on. Oh, what did I say? Let me check my notes right here. We're going to do a manga One Piece Awards on January 10th. Unless I'm like sick and dying or something like that. But, yeah, well, with little kids at home, you know, anything like that is possible. But I think that is going to be the plan, and I'm going to try to learn from this one and see what I can do better. And I primarily cover like the manga version of One Piece, and I watch the anime and I'm a big fan of it. But yeah, so the manga or the anime awards are the best episode of the year, the best fight of the year, the chump of the year, person of the year, and we got a Joy Boy award for the person that represents freedom, adventure, and joy from the anime in 2024. Look, I'm nailing this. Yeah, and I did not include fan letter in any of these awards because it would just win. And, I'm just going to. Everything else is canon, but yeah. I just want to make it clear to everybody that I know how good fan letter is, and I hope we get more things like that. How long have I been reading? What's your OP origin? My One Piece origin, I've heard of One Piece a long time ago, but um, when I knew my son was going to be born, I knew I was going to be a stay-at-home dad because of where we were with the COVID pandemic at the time, that there just literally weren't childcare places, so I had to stay home. um, and while that was happening, I was like, okay, work is silly right now, so I'm going to start watching One Piece while I just sit here and like fix computers all day. And so I got through the entire East Blue arc like that, and it was a great time. And that was through the anime. Um, like about a year later, I'm like a stay-at-home dad and got a little boy, and I decide to start reading manga because like I found the Shonen Jump app and have a tablet and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I can like read manga while he's like playing in the living room or whatever, because little babies like that, they like to come over and like say hi, but other than that, they'll come over to you and like cry about food or whatever, but they like to kind of just play by themselves, but you still need to watch them. So like I'm going to start reading manga. So I read the entire Naruto manga, and then I was like, what's next? And I was like, what if I just start reading One Piece? So I start reading One Piece, and I'm like blown away with how good it is. I obviously love the East Blue again. And then I think I was absolutely, like, unbelievably hooked when I got to, like, peak Alabasta arc. I just found that to be, like, one of the most exciting, like a story that had such a good blend of exciting action and, like, character development all mixed within, and then also, like, topped with a little bit of, like, chocolate icing of world building and all this kind of stuff. I was like really blown away by it. And then I just kind of pushed through. Like I read all of One Piece for the first time back in 2022 in the span of about 2 months. And then since then, because of this channel, I've reread most of the arcs 2 or 3 times. Have at least reread the series once at least to this point, and reread a bunch of stuff for the channel. It's fun. Yeah, I have a son and a daughter now, because things happen over time. But yeah, my son is 3 and my daughter is 1. Uh, oh, and my wife has also now read One Piece. Like I was like, hey, if you're gonna be like married to me and stuff, and like you love me, then you got to read One Piece. And so she started reading One Piece, and throughout the whole second pregnancy, she managed to catch all the way up. I have a video on my channel that's about a year old now called Wife Piece, and I just sit down and do like a kind of amateur Hot Ones style video where we just talk about One Piece and have a good time. That was a fun video. Oh yeah, my wife is awesome. For sure. She's probably listening. She's almost guaranteed listening right now, and she's probably like, "Yeah, I'm awesome." All right, let's get to the awards finally, guys. Let's see here. All right. Hopefully this will work. I prepared like little pre-recorded videos for this. Best fight of the year. Garp versus Hachinosu. We've always wondered what Garp could do, and seeing his assault on the pirate hive absolutely wrecking the Blackbeard pirates minus Kuzan, a former admiral and pupil, and Blackbeard himself. Garp shows strength and conviction equal to what we saw with Whitebeard in the Paramount War. The fight transitions to a 1v1 with his former pupil and former Admiral Kuzan, who has joined the Blackbeard pirates for unknown reasons. Luffy versus Rob Lucci. A rematch from like 600-700 episodes ago. Luffy and Rob Lucci have new abilities, new powers, but it's Luffy who has just outscaled him, and we get to see some brilliant creativity and explosiveness from Luffy, where he just makes a little bit of a fool out of Lucci. Law versus Blackbeard. The first major fight of the Egghead Island arc. To kick it off, we get the confusing treat of female Law, which quickly transitions to a 1v1 of Law and Blackbeard, where we see Law's Awakened Devil Fruit challenge the two Devil Fruit abilities of Blackbeard. And while his Tremor Fruit is dangerous, it's his Dark Logia Black Hole abilities that makes the difference in this fight, and closes out the fight in a way that just reminds us of the showdown between Blackbeard and Ace after Enies Lobby. Eustace Captain Kidd versus Red-Haired Shanks. Kidd wasn't able to get very close to Shanks before, but this time is different. Shanks takes him seriously, and Kidd rolls up and just prepares to absolutely annihilate the entire fleet around Elbaf. But Shanks looks far into the future and sees the destruction and takes off immediately and one-shots Kidd with the same attack we've seen from Gold Roger back in Odin's flashback. Was Kidd a buster here, or is Shanks just on a completely different level? A little bit yet to be seen. Alright, we're back. Alright, so the winner of Best Fight of the Year goes to Garp versus Hachinosu, the Blackbeard Pirates. Now, this was a close one between Luffy and Lucci as well, and I think that fight was so awesome, like really showing off the difference between Luffy and Lucci from pre-time skip to like the modern era of One Piece. But at the same time, we've had so much hype for Garp as the hero of the Marines, somebody who was at one point like a semi-equal to Roger, and then we got to see him do his thing. And I think the topping on the cake is kind of like how he lost, but he won ultimately, which was just like a badass move, right? Okay, what did I want to do next in order? Chump of the Year, then Person of the Year. All right. I didn't make a video for these other smaller ones, sorry. Takes a lot of time. Chump of the Year. There were some pretty big chumps this year. There's always a few big chumps. But nobody was a bigger chump in 2024 in the One Piece anime than Eustace Captain Kidd. Getting one shot in your first big fight after like tag teaming an Emperor with somebody else, it's just not a good look. Just not a good look at all. He came in feeling cocky for the second time against the red-haired pirates, even worse look, and then got his poneglyphs stolen and his ship destroyed. And basically shit his pants in front of his entire crew. So, Chump of the Year, Captain Kidd, well deserved. Bravo, Kidd. Bravo. Person of the Year, right? Person of the Year. We have nominees Monkey D. Luffy, Dr. Vegapunk, Nefertari D. Cobra, and Monkey D. Garp. And the second place person of the year is Nefertari D. Cobra. But the first place person is Monkey D. Garp again. You know, he just came in there firing all cylinders, doing shit he probably shouldn't have been doing, that he had no permission to be doing. And when the Marines as a whole, as an organization, basically come off as just like the cops of the world, they're just not in good standing. But the way that Garp plays by his own rules in a good way makes everybody have to like him, right? Especially after his, basically massive failure with Ace. This was like a little mini redemption story for him. So, Person of the Year for the One Piece anime, Monkey D. Garp. Okay. Next, we're going to do the episode of the year. I've prepared another quick video for you guys, so here we go. Empty throne, and after the questions, he is murdered right in front of Sabo, who attacks and tries to save Cobra. But I don't think Sabo was expecting the level of monstrosity, the level of evil, the level of secrecy, and so King Cobra leaves his message with Sabo to deliver to the world. Episode 1091, Brimming with the Future, an adventure on the island of science. One of the greatest parts of One Piece is getting to that new island, seeing the new location. So when we finally get to Egghead Island and we see this island of science through Luffy's eyes, we see truly limitless possibilities of this world. It's a kickoff to a great arc and storyline. Episode 1119, The Entrusted Message, King Cobra's Resolve. The sickly Nefertari Cobra from the Alabasta Kingdom shows up to the Five Elders to ask them some important questions, and he sees something he's never supposed to see. Somebody occupying the empty throne, and after the questions, he is murdered right in front of Sabo, who attacks and tries to save Cobra. But I don't think Sabo was expecting the level of monstrosity, the level of evil, the level of secrecy, and so King Cobra leaves his message with Sabo to deliver to the world, to deliver to his daughter, to deliver to Luffy. Episode 1097, The Will of Ohara, The Inherited Research. We get to see Dr. Vegapunk visiting the grave of Ohara, where he runs into a young dragon before he's created the Revolutionary Army. We see Dragon and Vegapunk's resolve and learn that Jaguar D. Saul lives and saved the knowledge and research from the Oharan archaeologists, bringing a now much older Robin to tears. 1122, The Last Lesson, Impact Inherited. At the end of Monkey D. Garp's assault on Hachinosu, he is mortally wounded, saving Captain Kobe. Garp and the fellow Marines are about to be annihilated, but Garp tells Kobe that he believes in him, and in this moment, Kobe strengthens his resolve and attacks back, and saves everybody in an amazing punch called Honesty Impact. Okay. Hopefully the audio worked fine. Sorry about the mix up. Scuffed as always. um, Episode of the year is not Galaxy Impact or the lesson learned Impact Inherited. The winner, a surprise for me, but I like it, is The Will of O'Hara, The Inherited Research. Now, this was actually really close. It was almost evenly split between the options, but squeaked out one more vote. The Will of O'Hara wins, and I think this is a really special episode, connecting Vegapunk and Dragon to something that's so important to the story, so important to the Straw Hat Pirates, so important to all the fans, because the O'Hara incident still stands as one of the best flashbacks, one of the most heartbreaking flashbacks in all of One Piece. All right, and then we got our last award, the Joy Boy Award. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. See, we have 3 options here. And they all got votes, but only one got the most votes. And that is Nefertari D. Cobra. I'm kind of shocked because I expected Garp, and Garp definitely deserves it as well, but Nefertari D. Cobra and his death having this like massive impact on the future of the story, and also his place at the near beginning of the story from the Alabasta arc. When we first saw Cobra, I was like, I'm not really about the whole like king thing. Like, I'm not like, ugh, I like kings, they're cool. I was like, kings suck. And then I was like, you know what, this guy's okay. I kind of like this guy. And then his kind of like setting in the underground tomb with Luffy and Robin, like, I liked watching that fight through his eyes and from his perspective. And then the fact that he kind of carries that whole experience all the way to the Reverie 2 years later, and he brings himself in front of the 5 elders to ask them some crazy shit. And then the kind of mysterious hidden king of the world, somebody from the Void Century, Emu, reveals themselves to him and starts talking to him. I mean, it was crazy. Love that episode, love that part of the manga, and I think the toughest part about his story is that we didn't get to see what he told Sabo, and that Oda is just dangling that fruit still. But, a few people know what it is, theoretically now, right? So, Joy Boy Award, fellow D member, Nefertari D. Cobra. Well deserved, I think. And that's going to be the show for today, guys. I'll stick around and just read chat for a second, but we're going to have a manga edition of the One Piece Awards featuring Big Dad on January 10th. It's going to be very similar to this, but I'm going to have some other stuff included, such as highlighting some fellow content creators, doing a kind of like channel review of the Big Dad channel, and giving my like official One Piece predictions for 2025. It's going to be a good time. Please come watch if you're caught up in the manga and stuff. Thank you for being here, and like the video and stuff, because that does help. And I'm going to sit here and hang out for a bit, but other than that, thank you for coming. Yeah, Cobra turned out to be so cool. So cool. Love that guy. Alright, everybody, have a happy new year. I look forward to doing One Piece stuff with everybody in 2025. And yeah, this is just the beginning. Thanks.